Hey, what's going on everybody? Mike here, AX Garage. Welcome back to the channel. We got another video on Type S Terry Integra Type S, and we got a few upgrades that we'll be doing today, and he's gonna tell you guys a little bit more about those parts. All right, Type S Terry, what do we have here?
All right, we have a few parts to add to this beast over here. We have some more coming, but let's start off with what we have now and get these things on the car. So over here we have a PRL turbo blanket that is made by PTP Turbo Blankets. And I'm actually doing this solely because I want to get some of the underhood temps down a little bit. I think it'll drop the temp on the inlet pipe, which, you know, it sits right above the turbo, so why not try to get the temps down a little bit and maybe keep it a little bit more consistent, because as we know, when it's cooler, it has the best power range. So we're gonna go ahead and do that, try to keep that temp down. And then moving on, we are going to install these RV6 lower control arms. Mainly two reasons why I wanted to do this is they look really cool, you know, especially from when you're behind the car. But the functionality of this, you kind of almost need it to get the car back to perfect spec in your alignment. These actually adjust the toe. As you seen on the last video, we did the the camber arms. And when you adjust camber, it moves your toe. So when you try to use the stock factory toe setting on the car, it doesn't really move far enough. So you can only kind of get so much adjustment. So that is what these are for. That fixes that, and it also handles quite well. I drove Mike's car with it on, and I kind of almost had to buy it just because of that. So we're going with that. And also, while we're in there, we are going to upgrade our sway bar to the RV6 sway bar with the Billet Endlinks. I believe this is going to add the most drastic change in handling wise, because I've driven stock and I've driven one with this, and this changes the way it handles tremendously. It's the biggest difference I'm probably gonna feel with all this. So I think everything together, it's gonna be really good. All right, so first up, what we're gonna do is start with the turbo blanket, and we'll work our way to the suspension. So I actually took a reading with the stock heat shield on how it is now. I actually did it as I got to work this morning. Pretty much took it. I did a couple pulls, second, third, and fourth, got it nice and hot. It's about a 30-minute ride, so I was driving it anyway. As soon as I got here, I let it idle for about 3 minutes, and then I wanted to check the temp. So at least I have kind of like a time frame of how I did it, so I can follow the same time frame when I change the blanket. So I pretty much tested right here where the little hot hand is on the heat shield, and we got about average of 260 degrees at idle after it was hot and warmed up and driving for a little while. And just idling in the parking lot, it was about 260 degrees. That was about the average. It was maybe a little less, a little more. I mean, the tool, you know, the heat tool only can tell so much. So we'll average 260. So I'm hoping with the blanket, we get that down to the low 100s, maybe under 100. That would be nice, and that should keep this part of the inlet pipe a little bit cooler, and in turn might give us a little bit more of like a steady performance. You know, instead of heat soaking or getting hot and then we drop in performance after one run or two runs, you know, we'll try to get that more consistent. So let's see how that goes. All right, so we got the blanket installed. We went ahead and removed the downpipe because it makes it 100 times easier to slide it in. And you got to get this part of the blanket on the backside has to slide between the bracket that bolts the motor to the turbo, and that bracket is so tight. With the downpipe on, I mean, I don't know how people do it. They do, but I don't know how they do it. So we decided to take the downpipe out, make it a lot easier. And once we did that, I mean, it was 1, 2, 3, in and out. And I went ahead and when you buy this blanket, it comes with the safety wire. They do have optional springs that you could use, which is easy. But I went with the wire because, I mean, I just timed it and it's not really going to come off right anytime soon. So we just went with the wire and kind of just kept it simple, and that was that. So now we're going to put the downpipe back on and move on to the suspension.
I don't know about you guys. I think TJ should leave his shows off. But I don't know. Drop a comment below and let us know what you think. But my opinion, I'll leave that off. Show off the blanket. I think it look really, really nice on the engine bay.
Yeah, but then this part of the exhaust will be exposed, and that'll defeat the purpose. So for now, we're putting this back on. Extra heat protection. And
so once they make the blanket for this portion
for the
of
elbow,
it,
yeah, I think they
we'll
do make
okay.
it, but it's for the FK8, so I don't know if it fits. I got to do a little research. If it fits, then you know, maybe I'll order that one, and we'll take this heat shield back off.
You got to take the downpipe back off.
No. That just goes around.
just like that, we got everything put back together on the very top here. We'll do a quick wipe down on the titanium pipe, then we'll go ahead and move on to the bottom, finish that up, then we move on to the suspension.
All right, we got everything buttoned up in the front with the turbo blanket. So now we're gonna come back here and we're gonna replace these control arms and this sway bar here. So I think what I'm gonna do is just drop the control arms all together, and then we'll take the sway bar out, and then we'll put the new sway bar back in and put the control arms up and tighten everything down. Right.
All right, so with the sway bar end links torqued down, we are good to go here. Next up, let's go and put the wheels on so we can get the car over to the alignment rack and get the alignment done. So here we have the reading for the rear suspension, the camber from last time. We were within specs, negative 1.9. On the passenger side, just slightly out of factory spec, negative 2.3. So from back here, we're gonna start off with the rear camber. TJ adjusting the driver's side right now, then move on to the passenger side. Once that's all done, then we go ahead and adjust the rear toes. Where we at? 1.8?
You know when?
Looking good right there.
Right there?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you passed it.
I passed it?
Mm-hmm. Right about there. Oh,
Too much?
go back a tiny bit. Right there. So after we adjust the rear suspensions and the alignment, the front turned out to be completely perfect. So I think we're all good here. Maybe now we're gonna take the car to a little road test and see how she behave on the road.
All right, so now that we finished up the alignment, we're gonna move on to something I've been wanting for a little while now, ever since I've been driving Mike's Type S. That thing is awesome with the shifter, and he has the hybrid racing shifter nurse. So I finally got my own hybrid racing shifter, and of course I went with the red version, which we are gonna install today. And also at the same time, since I have this, I opted to go with their competition shift knob here, and we ended up getting the titanium competition knob, and it's weighted. It's actually really nice. This is a nice piece. Should put a lot of flair almost in the interior there. And while we are at it, while we have all the center console out, we are in the process of switching the LEDs from white, you know, the little LED strips in the doors and all that, and we're going to go from white to red, which comes on the Civic Type R. And we ended up getting a few of them in. They're kind of on back order, so we're just getting them as they come. But I'm going to opt to change the one that sits in the center console right over the charging pad for the phone. And because we're gonna have it out anyway, so I might as well swap that out now while we have it out doing the shifter. That way out later on I don't have to change it out. So let's get going with that, and then we'll see how all this looks.
the other side. There you go.
All right, so we got the stock shifter out, and we're gonna put it here to show a little comparison. Basically, what you have with the hybrid racing is you have two settings that you can put this on. Right here, if you see, you have a 1 and a 2. It comes from hybrid on 1, and basically, this one here, it gives you your side-to-side motion. Now, if you have it on 2, your side-to-side won't be as much. You know, you won't need to go as far over left or right to get into whatever gear you're going in. Same concept here. If you have it in the second position, it's an even shorter throw than it already is. I feel like on the setting 1, it's plenty short, and your side-to-side is you know, short enough where I don't think you really need to go with the 2. But it's all within preference. I mean, that's how I like it. I'm sure other people might like a little shorter, which is fine, and that's how you would do it. But at least you have some adjustability with this, and it's not just, you know, one way and that's it. All right, so now we got the shifter back in, and we are getting ready to put this panel back on. And like I said earlier, we are going to be swapping all the LEDs to red LEDs. And this is one of them right here, which sits inside the charging port, charging pad area. And so pretty much what you want to do is just twist it off, and that's it. We got the factory light off, which is this one. This is the Type R red LED, and you can see the mounting is in a different orientation. Basically, all you really got to do is just swap off these covers here, which you just slide it out. Really, we slide this one out, and then we can slide the factory one back in here, and now we can put this back in just like it sits. All right, so we are putting our last panel back on here, which is the shift boot air panel. And you can either leave this on and you know, put everything back how it is and leave you know, have your boot and it'll, you know, cover your shifter, or you can opt to take the boot out, leave it open, and you'll be able to see, you know, the shifter and all of its glory. And I think that that's probably going to be the best option for me, because I want to see this nice shifter piece that we bought, you know, and it's red and it matches, so it'll look nice. And then you know, eventually we'll be able to maybe change out this here piece here for a titanium in the future. You know, you never know, but it might happen. now we got everything back in. Let's take a look how that red LED is going to look in the front there. It looks good. I can't wait to get the rest of them, you know, hopefully we get those really soon. All right, so now for the final thing that we're doing here is SiriMoto sent us over the production strut bar for the FL5 and DE5 here, and so we're gonna go ahead and install that now. I already have the FK8 one in, which I had to make it fit, but now we're gonna have the one that's for the car, and it should fit flawlessly without having to do anything. We got this is the FK8 bracket, and this is the new 11th gen Civic and DE5 bracket. And as you can see, very subtle changes, but this for the FL5 is actually a little bit thicker. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna bring it up a little higher, and that should clear the battery tie down and AC bracket on the other side. Got the FL5 strut bar on here, the FL5 D5 strut bar, and I noticed from the other one, from the FK8 to this one, it actually clears the AC pipe a lot better. You don't have to really mess with that at all. And then moving on to the battery side, it clears the battery tie down and clears the bracket over here for the cable pretty well. The other one, you kind of had to move this bracket out the way a little bit, kind of had to make it fit. So now that this is on and we got the shifter in, let's go take this thing for a test drive and see how it goes.
All right, guys, so it's been a couple of weeks. TJ been driving his car, and what do you think so far, man?
I love it. I think it's awesome, man. This shifter is like, every time it hits in gear, you know it's in gear. I mean, this thing shifts so smooth, and I can bang gears now without worrying if I'm gonna, you know, miss a gear or miss shift. And it's really good, man. This thing feels solid. And then also the suspension as well. You know, we did the suspension too. Added the sway bar and the control arms, and I can take corners so much easier. I mean, you don't feel any body roll. You feel the road, you can feel the car planted, you know, and it just takes corners easy. So I mean, all in all, the car drives really good. I mean, the car drives great with stock suspension, but it just has another level of performance when you add all that together.
Now guys, we're gonna wrap today's video up. On the next video, we'll be probably working with Firbo and also Honda to work on the new Fuel Flex system. So you don't wanna miss, make sure you are subscribing to our channel. And again, wanna thank you guys again. We just hit 100,000 subscribers. Thank you everyone for supporting us. And we're gonna end today's video. I got TJ next to me. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys again next week.